In this video, you're going to see how I overwintered the Cicco broccoli in Zone 7, where it got down to 10 degrees a few times this winter. I'll show you what went well and what didn't. People give me weird looks when I tell them that broccoli is my favorite vegetable, but it's true. There's just something about it that I crave. Cooked broccoli, not so much the raw stuff. I started broccoli in August in module trays and transplanted it out in September. I didn't want it to mature, but to get just big enough to survive the winter, which it did. Some of it grew under some protective row fabric, while I grew some of it out in the open just to see what would happen. It was a somewhat mild winter, though we did have some nights that got down to 10 degrees. We live in Zone 7A, so it can get down to 0 here sometimes, although I've never seen it lower than 5, and I've lived here for almost 20 years. I figure that with cover, all of the broccoli could have survived, even down to 5 degrees, since the uncovered stuff did fine down to 10. The variety we grew is a relatively common heirloom variety called the Cicco, which I found out a little too late was bred for its small heads and narrow, tender stems. Initially, I was disappointed when I realized this because I wanted big heads of broccoli, but in the end, I was satisfied with the type of harvest we got. After an initial harvest that was pretty tiny, there were tons of side shoots, and then tons more after that. It looked really pretty on a plate, and we got more broccoli than I ever have before, which actually isn't saying much, but it is progress. When I was thinking that we weren't going to get much in the way of a harvest, I started to harvest some of the leaves. And it turns out the broccoli leaves taste great and are better for you than most other greens. So give that a try if you want to get the most out of your broccoli. Pretty much the only problem my broccoli faced were these aphids, which are a pain to wash off, though it is possible, given enough time and attention. They look a lot like the little buds that form the broccoli heads. I was going to get insecticidal soap or Dr. Bronner's soap, but I never got around to it, and they don't seem to have caused a lot of damage anyway, just a pain to wash off. The neat thing I learned was that the broccoli that I left uncovered, while it looked a little more sad in the middle of the winter, never had the aphid problem the covered broccoli did. So I'm going to intentionally leave the broccoli uncovered next year in hopes that the aphids just can't survive the harsher conditions. I'm going to grow some broccoli for the fall, but started in July so we get that fall harvest. Plus, I'm going to grow a lot more winter broccoli that we start in August. We'll do some more de Cicco. I decided I like it. But I'd also like to try purple sprouting broccoli, which is bred for the winter and overwintering, as well as some of the most common variety out there, calabrese. We'll see how it does. Click here to see the fall broccoli video, or if it's not ready yet, subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks.